Okay, so today we're going to go ahead and continue our WH question discussion. So this one's a little bit more complicated. So let's go ahead and first start with our identifications like we always do. WH. For one, that is our WH word that's going to go at the end of the sentence. Do we need it? No. So we can go ahead and get rid of it. She is the person, there's our subject. Need is our verb. So let's go ahead and put V. To go to. So remember, we can get rid of these twos. Those are articles, so we don't need them. But I mean, technically, this is all like one thing in English. It's basically for the word go, but we need to add in those articles, right? So that's basically our big verb. And then we have our object for class. So first, let's go ahead and get our posters, put those all up. As we always do, class, go. And as we can always see, everything is in capital letters in our gloss because we want to distinguish our English from our gloss. Again, another reminder that we will be using the sign for girl, right? We don't use the sign for she because we have to set up a referent if we're going to use a referent. And then when. So there we go. We have all of our verbs and all of our signs. And let's start with our object, right? We always start with object. So go ahead and put them up here so I don't have to bend over. So class. So what about the class? Is a girl. And oh, hold on. The magnet from boy. Okay, so there we go. Awkward. It looked really weird from my end. So class, girl. Okay, now we have two verbs. So what do? Well, technically need is not just a normal verb. It's actually what's called a modal verb. So that's spelled M-O-D-A-L and then verb as well. So, and now modal verbs, put this down, have 5 different categories. There's 5 different types of modal verbs. And let me look at my list over here. So there is ability. So for example, can or can't. There is permission. So maybe. Oh, no, that's wrong. Permission is also can and can't, right? There is possibility, and that's a can or maybe. There is obligation or requirement, you must do something. And there's also advice, and that's such as should. So there are 5 types of modal verbs, and whenever you see one, well, let me go ahead and just add an MV, modal verb. So some examples of modal verbs are can, need, should, can't, maybe, and there's a few more. But they're very limited. And so modal verbs are always going to go second. So that's going to go after the go. And typically, modal verbs go at the end of a sentence. And so if you see the word need, can, should, maybe, automatically just put it at the end and just, stay there, okay? And so that's why need's going to go second. And then lastly, we have our WH. And WH is the last, okay? Not to be confused with the position of some of the other words. So now we have our sentence, class, girl, go, need, when. Okay? So when does a girl need to go to class? And again, we have the 2 verbs. And typically, if